Can y'all see me? Hold up. Oh. Dang. Yo, what's going on? Another episode of Hänz Nobe vlog. What's going on, ladies and gents? It's your man Hänz Nobe, and I am sitting here in the home studio working on a couple of things. As you guys can see, I got some things sort of set up. So on today's episode, I'm gonna make it sort of short and sweet. I'm gonna keep going with this format because you guys seem to like it and consume the content a bit more. It seems to be a bit more palatable. I'm new to this main, so want to catch you guys up on everything that I have going on. So as of right now, I'm currently working on a pop house single that's going to be due out soon, but that's going to be announced. Also working on another project, working on a few things, working on some albums, but just wanted to catch you guys up. Really, the most important thing is I have fully converted over to Logic. Not sure if you guys can see that. Hold on. All right, so I'm in FL Studio. So recently, I decided to make the change from Logic Pro to FL, and I was worried about learning a brand new DAW, mostly because it's a brand new DAW. Now, let me sort of explain like why I've made this transition. Now, before I moved up here to New York from Houston, I actually I was one of the beta users for FL for Mac, and I use it a lot for drum programming, and you couldn't really do much else. You couldn't like save it or anything, but what you could do was you could like export all the files into WAV. So that's what I would do. So I would make the drum track, export out the file, export the drum loop, and then just dump it in the Logic and then take it from there. And then they did some sort of update, and then you couldn't do it, and I guess I wasn't a beta user anymore. So I guess they just decided that for me. Been playing around with the idea, and so when I found out that it was released for Mac, I was sort of hesitant because I had sort of mastered Logic. However, the problem with Logic is that it's clunky. No disrespect. Matter of fact, let me show you. Not to show too much. Oops. As you can see, I have like 45 different tracks and everything else. And for the most part, Logic is pretty good. You can kind of see some notes here, and it was cool. However, the problem is that if I zoom in on a lot of these tracks here, you're gonna see that most of them are actually waves. The reason why they're waves is that for whatever reason, Logic has a hard time processing MIDI that's coming out of your track. So I use a lot of Nexus, I use a lot of contact libraries as well, and most of the time when I'm in the groove of actually trying to create something, for whatever reason, as I'm clicking through, it's going to start loading the actual MIDI, and it takes a little while. Even if I'm running it on low latency mode, it's taking forever, and I don't like that. So whenever I hop over to FL Studio, everything's pretty simple. It doesn't use a lot of RAM. It's pretty straightforward. The automation is great to use, and this is FL Studio for Mac. So for those Logic users, definitely check it out. And if you can see here as well, if I go here to MIDI, I still have my EXS24. I haven't updated. I refuse to update because the last time we updated, I couldn't use any of my plugins, which sucked. So what that meant was that I actually had to go into Terminal, and I actually had to write in a code to fool my brand new computer into thinking it was a 2016 model, so that way I can actually use the plugins. It took about 3.5 hours to actually do it. I was not happy about it, but that's another reason why I'm not gung-ho about using a lot of stuff with Logic. Is that as well with FL. We didn't really have that problem. It was pretty straightforward. Could dive right into it, and then we were it. So that's been sort of like my journey going from FL Studio to Logic. I like it. I've been able to pick it up within the 9th beat. I pretty much have all my sounds and arrangement, how I like I have my workflow down. Working on if you're using Logic, definitely check it out. Ableton as well. And it's not to knock it. It's still pretty dope. It's just that A lot of times you have to bounce you have to print a lot of things, and that's not really ideal because you just want to get the ideas going. It's like, I already have the idea in my head, I want to get it going. I don't want to have to do some like external thing or whatever else and like add in like 3 or 4 more steps to get this one thing done. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. For those of you that use FL, and for those of you that are using Logic, let me know what's been your experience. I have both. I can always jump back over to Logic, but FL seems to pretty much be the move right now. Hit like and subscribe.